good old iOS 7. Some consider it to be the peak of mobile gaming, and they definitely are not wrong. So today I will be showing you all of the best games for iOS 7 and how you can get them so you can relive the golden days. First of all, if you do not know how to get games on iOS 7, here's how you do it. You of course will need to be jailbroken with Cydia. So hop into Cydia and you're going to add one repo, and this repo is this, yzoo.mo/dev/, and this is Electamon's repo. And in here, you're gonna go to all packages and you're gonna find Viteris. So to install this tweak, just hit modify, install, confirm, and you're probably gonna get prompted to restart your Springboard. And of course, you'll now have an app on your home screen called Viteris. And by the way, if you have any issues installing apps from Viteris, just give your device a reboot. Sometimes AppSync doesn't work off the bat. So to download an app, just go to the search tab, search up whatever you want here. So I already have Fruit Ninja searched up in here. So I would just go into Fruit Ninja, I would go here, I would select my version, and to see if it's installing, I would go to more queue, and there you go. You can see everything is installed here because I've just installed a bunch of apps actually, but that's how that works. Now, another way you can get apps is via a site in Safari called iPhoneOSobscura.litten.ca/, and this site is basically Viteris, but with a bigger and better selection of apps. So, for example, we have Minecraft right here. Viteris does not nearly have this many versions of Minecraft in there. Yeah, to install something from iPhoneOSobscura.litten.ca, you would go in here and you would use the proxy to install, and you just hit install. And by the way, avoid these apps right here. If it says that the app is encrypted, avoid those at all costs because they will not work because they're not cracked. And it is very common for iPhoneOS Obscura to go down, so if your apps aren't installing, just give it a bunch of tries. Eventually, sometimes it will download. That's what I'm kind of experiencing at the moment, where it'll take a ton of tries for an app to actually install. It'll say, could not be downloaded at this time, and I just have to retry it until it works. It takes forever. But if it's just completely down and it's not installing anything for you, you can just use Viteris, although it will not have as nearly as much apps and as many versions of apps. You can also mess around with direct install, but I really recommend proxy to install, but if something isn't working. But anyway, that's how you install these apps. Let's get into the game. This first one is an absolute classic, and you definitely know what it is, as it's the most sold game ever. And that, of course, is Minecraft. And the version of Minecraft Pocket Edition I recommend is 0.81 because it has the newest features with the best performance due to having non-infinite worlds, because even A7 cannot handle infinite worlds. There is also the free version of MCPE known as Lite. It's essentially a demo version of the full game. It's fun to play if you are feeling nostalgic, but it's not as good as the full game. The version I recommend is 0.21. The next one is Flappy Bird, which is also an absolute classic and is also absolutely frustrating. The version I recommend is 1.2. The next one I recommend is Jetpack Joyride. I've been playing this since at least late 2014, and I haven't really stopped playing since. It's your classic, see how high you can get the score to be without dying type of game, but this time with jetpacks. The version I recommend is 1.5. The next game I recommend is Doodle Jump. Now, there are both HD and non-HD versions, so here are the best versions for each type. HD I recommend 3.7, and non-HD I recommend 3.8. And it's like a type of game where it uses the gyroscope for you to like jump around obstacles on like trampolines or something like that. It's pretty cool. Check it out. The next one I recommend is Subway Surfers, which I guarantee you have at least seen in the background of some TikToks. It's by far one of the most played mobile games of all time, and the version I recommend is 1.88.0. The next game is called Boost. It utilizes the gyroscope to move the character around obstacles, and that's pretty much what the game is. Version I recommend is 2.4. The next game I recommend is Temple Run. It's a lot like Subway Surfers, but uses the gyroscope and touch input. The version I recommend is 1.6.1. And the next one is also a Temple Run game. It's Temple Run 2. It's just the better version of the first one. The version I recommend for Temple Run 2 is 1.36. The next one I recommend is called Cut the Rope. It's a classic puzzle game. It has both a HD and non-HD version. So here are the versions I recommend for both. HD I recommend 2.7.1, and non-HD I recommend 2.6. And the next one is another version of Cut the Rope. It's the second version, in fact, and this one does not have a individual HD or non-HD version. Thankfully, it's all just the same app. The version I recommend is 1.69. Now, this next one is absolutely elite ball knowledge. It's called Lego Juniors, and it's only found on iPhoneOS Obscura as Lego 4 Plus. I remember playing this one back on Android back in the day. I didn't even know it had an iOS port until recently. I mean, the more you know, I guess. It's just a driving type of game with Lego characters, and the version I recommend is 2.0.0. The next stuff I am going to recommend is multiple Angry Birds versions. Now, there are both non-HD and HD versions of all of these, so I will provide the best versions for these, of course. The first one is generic Angry Birds. Non-HD, I recommend 7.6.1. HD, I recommend 3.4.1. Next one is Angry Birds Rio. HD, I recommend 2.6.6. Non-HD, I recommend 2.3.1. And of course, there are like 10 more Angry Birds versions out there. It's just I'm too lazy to throw them in here because I haven't really played them, to be completely honest. I've only played the original and Angry Birds Rio. The next one is Plants vs. Zombies 1 and 2. PvZ1 has a non-HD and HD version. PvZ2 does not. If you don't know what these games are at this point, they're classic tower defense type games with zombies. We will start with PvZ2 because that's easier. The best version for PvZ2 is 2.0. The best versions for HD PvZ1 is 1.9.7 and non-HD is 1.9.9. The next one is Paper Toss. Like PvZ, there are two versions, with one having two versions for HD and non-HD, and a second iteration with none of that. If you do not know what Paper Toss is, it's sort of a combination of like a score-based game and puzzle, because you have to estimate the right direction to throw the paper into the basket, but you have a high score counter. Overall, it's really challenging and I find it fun. For Paper Toss 1, the best HD version is 1.84.2, and non-HD, I recommend 1.84.4. For Paper Toss 2, I recommend 1.3.0 as the best version. And a quick note about Paper Toss 2 for when you search for it in Viteris. It is incorrectly labeled as Paper Toss Boss, when in reality that's the actual IPA for Paper Toss 2. The next one is Geometry Dash. You know what it is. The best version for the default non-light version is 2.01. The best light version is 2.10. The next one is Ninjump DX. I remember this from the iOS 4 era, but it's still just as fun on iOS 7. Like the name says, you are a ninja jumping between two balls and dodging obstacles. Now there is a HD and non-HD version, and I will give you the best versions for both, of course. The best version for the HD version is 1.1.0, and for non-HD, the best is 1.81.0. The next one we're going to go over is a game called Plague Inc. It is a strategy game where you create a plague and just pretty much try to infect the earth. The best version is 1.14.1. The next one we're going to go over is a game called Dino Rush. Now in this game, you just play as a dino and eat food to keep your health up and just continue on. As you continue on, of course, your score increases, and the goal is to just pretty much see how far you can get without. Along that, you also have to dodge obstacles. Now, no one has archived the HD version and put it on Viteris or iOS Obscura, so if you're on an iPad like me, you'll have to deal with the very bad pixelation of HD games on iPad. The best version for this is 1.3. The next game is called Office Jerk. First of all, pause. Second of all, anyway, it's just basically paper toss, but instead of throwing items in a basket, you are throwing it at your coworker. You can unlock new items via coins if your score gets pretty high, and there are also cool Easter eggs along the way. The next game is called Bubble Burst. It's basically just a puzzle game where you match the color of the bubble with the other one at the top, and you just need to chuck it towards that one. It does get pretty complex as you go on and reach higher levels. It's pretty fun. Now, another one that's a little less obscure, of course. This one is Fruit Ninja. Of course, this is an absolute classic, and I guarantee you know about the game. Now, there are both HD and non-HD versions of this game, and of course, I will give you the best versions for both. The best version for HD is 1.8.4, and the best version for non-HD is 1.9.0. Now, here's the final game I recommend. It's called Nyan Cat Lost in Space, and it is one of those games where you can see how high you can get the score, except you're just Nyan Cat. The best version for this is 2.3. And anyway, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider dropping a like, subscribing with notifications on, and using the hype feature because it helps out the video and the channel. Consider sharing this to someone that would find this interesting and or helpful. And check out my social media accounts, which will be in the description and in the end card. I have a Twitter, a TikTok, a second YouTube channel, which I plan on posting on sometime soon, and I have a Reddit account. And anyway, this has been Derek from Certified Legacy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
What we do here is go back.